My name is Carla, and I will be talking about today a little bit about the conservation efforts on the Caribbean manatee. My first theme would be territorial distribution, environment, and diet. They are also known as the Triceratops manatees, and it has two subspecies, the Antillean manatee and the Florida manatee. It is not to be confused with the African manatee. They are found mostly in the southeastern coast of the U.S., the Central America, North and South of South America, and Caribbean islands. They are found mostly in river mouths and coast, and their diet is mostly about seagrass and aquatic plants. Relationship with humans, dangers and loss. One of their biggest threats is the habitat loss, and this habitat loss also consists in the massive loss of seagrass. In the season of 2020 to 2021 in the Indian River Lagoon, located at the east coast of Florida, there were a series of harmful algal blooms that resulted in this massive loss of seagrass, and sadly the consequence of it was the death of hundreds of manatees who could not find enough food, and this problem continues to this day. One of the most common anthropogenic dangers that pose to the manatees are the watercraft collision caused by the hole and or slashing of the propellers, the foot gate or canal lock. Sadly, they are drowned under these structures, and other human-related causes are the monofilament line, fishing nets, fishing hooks, litter, poaching for their meat, and other human activities. Laws surrounding their protection here in Puerto Rico are two. They are protected under the U.S. law of the Marine Mammal Protection Act of 1972 and the Endangered Species Action Protection Act of 1973. They are also protected internationally by the Protocol of the Cartagena Convention, which prohibits taking, killing, buying, selling manatees, including parts or products made from manatees. This is one of the rivers that deliver in the Indian East Coast Lagoon River. This green part is the seagrass in 2019 versus the loss of seagrass by 2021. This is a manatee heard by the propeller of a boat, and this is the list of countries that join the efforts of the Cartagena Convention protocols. One of the most important aspects in the conservation efforts are the education efforts, the groups and their awareness. In their relationship with their communities, one of the actions implemented is prevent the fishermen from hunting the manatees, but also help them rescue them. In some countries, economic ecotourism is a really good alternative to compensate for the hunting. Another action implemented would be the research project, development of the research projects on the species to generate knowledge about manatees specific to each country. The protection of their habitat with local action as the creation of protected areas. Two organizations that are really fundamental in these efforts are the Caribbean Manatee Conservation Center, established in 2009, and the Manatee Club, or Save the Manatee Club, established in 1981. They both have the mission to protect them and rescue them. The mission of conservation, the 3 R's: rescue, rehabilitate, and reintroduce the manatees. These centers include from veterinary care to volunteers to research to tracking, device programs to partnerships, and of course the advocacy efforts. One of the few efforts that could help the future generation of manatees are the power companies working cooperatively with federal and state conservation manatees to address the future loss of warm water outflows where manatees winter, authorities working with local people to minimize manatee collisions with vessels during high-speed manatee events, which sadly happen mostly in the summer. Also, with the fishing gear cleanup and recycling programs, reducing the threat from fishing gear entanglements. As concluding this theme, efforts of groups and people are obviously not enough. There needs to be more laws and more people involved, but also more compassion. Without the compassion, the efforts are not that reachable. And this was my presentation. Thank you.